Hello friends, and welcome to the final video in my little Vlogmas series. I hope that you all had a lovely and wonderful Christmas and a fantastic December. Today is the 29th. Okay, I was thinking it was the 28th. I'm telling you, having a Christmas on a Monday throws everything off, because then my husband had work off on Tuesday, so then Wednesday felt like a Monday. It was bonkers. But yeah, thank you so much for following along on my little Vlogmas video series that I've done this year. I really enjoyed it. It was much more manageable than trying to do something every single day, so I could see myself doing this again next year and for the years going forward, because it is kind of fun to document bits and pieces, and I definitely haven't filmed as much this month as I kind of planned to, but it worked out because it made the videos very easy to edit, and I didn't end up with like 30-minute long videos, which I could foresee happening in the future. But this year it was just lovely to keep it very simple and relaxed. We had a lot going on in December, and then we did end up getting sick just before Christmas and my birthday. We got, Micah came home with a cold. He had a bad cold, so he ended up staying home from work on one day, and he had like a very, very low grade fever, like hardly a fever at all, but still, it's like, don't go to work. And he was also just like very congested and not feeling well, and so he had a day where I let him sleep in until like 10 o'clock in the morning or something. I was just like, get some rest. And then the next day was still pretty good. I think I started feeling like a little bit iffy. And then the following day, which was of course my birthday, I came down with it properly, and baby Tam had a really rough couple of nights because he started getting kind of just runny nose and stuff, and he was just so confused, and he kept waking up and he would freak out because he's got like a snotty nose and stuff, and he doesn't know what to do with himself. So we had a couple of rough nights of sleep, and then I came down with it properly on my birthday. And whenever I get head colds, I don't know what it is, but they just always seem to be really bad. And I don't know if that's just everybody gets head colds really badly, but it's not fun. Not that a cold is fun in the beginning place, in the first place, but a lot of times like my hearing will kind of go even worse than it already is, and it's just, and then you have a little sick baby and you're tired, and it wasn't the best birthday I've ever had. Like, it was great, it was fine. We just kind of stayed home the whole day, and the other part of the thing was, my plan was that even though we were sick, I was like, oh, this will be lovely. I was just gonna stay home, and we're gonna put the baby down for his nap, and we can play some board games and drink some tea. We drank so much peppermint tea, oh my goodness. And I was like, this will be fine. Like, it'll work. Like, even if we're not feeling good, we can just have a really nice, calm, relaxing day. We can watch a Studio Ghibli movie or something while the baby's sleeping. Because I don't know about you, if you have a small toddler, they're not great at sitting down and watching movies, which is totally fine. Totally get it. I don't want to like force them to focus on TV and stuff any more than they have to. That'll come in plenty of time. But it has meant that we just really don't watch movies. Anyway, however, the poor little child was so congested and stuff, he hardly napped the whole day. And so he just had a rough day, so I had a rough day. It was fun. We were a little bit worried that we were going to have to completely cancel our Christmas Eve plans if we were all feeling terrible and sick. And we did end up skipping the going to church on Sunday, unfortunately, just because we were still kind of feeling a bit rough, and it was kind of a rough night. And a lot of it had cleared up. We were just very congested and stuffy nose and cold and stuff. But we did end up still being able to go and have lunch with Micah's family. So that was really nice. That we were feeling well enough that it was fine. It was honestly my birthday was the worst day. But then Christmas Eve and Christmas Day weren't that bad. We were doing pretty well by Christmas Day. I don't know if you can hear it or not. A lot of times people will say you might hear it in my voice, and I can never tell. But I'm still quite congested. Micah's basically over it. Like, Micah and the baby, they're fine. I'm like, come on, guys. Rude. But yeah, so we had a really, really good Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, all that fun stuff. We spent all of it with Micah's family. There's a sad thing, I've mentioned it before, my family lives like 10 hours away, so it's just not practical to try and travel with a toddler, and we have done so many trips this year. Oh my goodness. It's kind of been a year. The second half of 2023 was not the easiest, but that's okay. Sometimes that happens. But anyway, so thankfully we do have one half of our family that's close enough that we can do holidays and stuff with them. And hopefully the Army will get the memo and move my family closer back so then we can see them more often. But anyway, I'm rambling here. So I'm going to share just a couple of the gifts that I got for my birthday and Christmas. I got more than this, like some odds and ends. Like, Micah's mom is amazing at doing stockings. She'll fill the stockings with all like those really practical things and also fun things. It's not just, you know, boring practical things, but they're really lovely, like practical little like household items. Or she gave me like a new sewing measuring tape, which I needed another one anyway, and I was like, oh, this is perfect. I'd almost bought myself one, like, I don't know, several times when I was at Hobby Lobby. And so there's a bunch of like odds and ends and chocolates and those sorts of things that they're not that interesting to talk about. So I'm just going to share kind of the main like crafty sorts of things. But yeah, so first off, for my birthday, oh, the best present ever. So Holly from Mystery Mouse Yarn Co. did this beautiful autumn storytime kit set, and I loved it. She released it in like September, maybe October, and I thought it was just the most beautiful thing, and I really wanted to buy it because she had collaborated with Susan of Delightful Works, and the fabric that Susan picked for the bags, oh my goodness, so adorable. And so I really, really wanted it, but it was a little bit pricier than I was wanting to spend at the moment, and so I was talking with my husband about it, and he was like, well, he could send it to me. You've got a birthday and Christmas coming up. And I was like, well, okay. So then he got it for me for my birthday. Look at the little mole. The mole is my favorite. I love the little mole. It's just the cutest thing. Although I did literally just realize that there's a mouse and a teacup. Oh, there we go. Which was my... if you go back and watch the very first episode on my channel, I started off calling this podcast the Teacup Mouse, and then I changed it to Woldenburn. So at some point I need to get a little logo, and it's going to be either a mouse or a mole. I'm not sure yet, but it's just the sweetest woodland animal fabric you've ever seen. It's adorable. And then the yarn that Holly dyed, oh, it's gorgeous. I didn't realize I'd taken this off of the wrapper already, but she did some self-striping yarn, which is amazing. Like, it is so much work. I tried to do that once, I think, and it was a tangled mess. Because the way that you have to do it when you're doing self-striping yarn, and if you're not familiar with that, it's where the yarn just does different stripes of color on its own. You basically have to take the yarn that's normally in, like, you know, a normal size hank, and you have to rewind it to like this massive, massive long hank and try and take each different bit, and like that. It's an ordeal. So Holly did some, and it is just stunning. Like, look at this. I can't wait to knit with it. It's a little more muted than it's showing on screen, which is even more perfect. I absolutely love it. And then she included 2 mini skeins with it, which are beautiful. Oh, the red's way more like muted autumnal. Both of them are. They're much more of a like faded color. The red in particular is showing up as like bright, but it's almost like a dusty orangey red. It's gorgeous. So it's supposed to be like kind of a sock set, and I'm trying to decide. I probably will knit socks with it. I'm a little torn because I have found that a lot of the socks that I've knit out of this type of like hand-dyed yarn, big wing weight yarn, they tend to get holes in them fairly quickly, or to wear really thin. Like I guess I haven't had that many get holes in them, but they're wearing really thin, like concerningly thin. And so I've been a little hesitant to knit a bunch more hand-dyed yarn socks, just because, you know, it's a lot of work. And then once they have holes in them, like, maybe you can darn it, but I don't always have the yarn left, and I'm not even sure how I would go about properly darning it in a way that it wouldn't just immediately get another hole in another spot. So I'm kind of debating. I probably will do socks with this, but I was thinking maybe like some fingerless mitts would be really pretty. Anyway, so there's that, which is gorgeous. And then let me just share. There's Susan's Etsy shop for the project bags. She does gorgeous project bags, which I've talked about a million times. And then the other really fun thing was that Holly's friend Elizabeth, I believe her name is, did some stitch markers and a progress keeper, and they are gorgeous. She hand makes, she has an Etsy shop, I'll link it down below. She hand makes these little progress keepers, and the thing is, when I was seeing them just online, I was kind of thinking they were just like I don't know what they're called, but you know the beads you take and you can like iron and they like kind of melt together? But they're not. These are stitched together beaded progress keepers. Words. They're all like individually stitched together, which I can't even imagine like how much work that would take and it would go into it. It's so cool. So absolutely lovely. I am definitely anticipating being able to use this on a project. And then the other ones, as you can see, are just these beautiful little leaves, and then there's a little mushroom. So, oh, so cute. Yeah, so that was my birthday present. And then, let me see. Christmas, I got, well, from Micah, another present that I asked for was next year's Astrid Shekels calendar. I love her calendar so much. I was debating on going with a different artist that I follow on Instagram, but she had shared some of these pictures from the month, and I've had her calendar for 2 years now. This will be my 3rd year. And it just brings me so much joy having that calendar up on my wall and getting to see the gorgeous artwork each month. Like, it's amazing. And it's definitely, it is pricey. These are with tax and shipping and everything. I think it's about $40, $45. So it's not cheap for a calendar, which is why I feel like every year I'm kind of like, but I absolutely love it. Like, her artwork is phenomenal. And then the thing that's really cool about it is that after the year is over, or at any point, honestly, the paper that she does it on is sturdy enough. It's basically like you're getting 12 art prints. Like, you could cut it off, and they're all like 8 by 10. You could cut it off like right underneath the month there, and then just have the individual pieces of art that you could frame and hang up. I have yet to do that, but there are definitely some pictures from the last couple of years that I would love to hang up on the wall. It's just, picture frames are expensive, and getting there is difficult, but I'm very happy about this. I'm very happy to have next year. I'm really excited because if you look really closely here, if it'll focus, look at February. So adorable. It's a little raccoon sitting on her windowsill with like a cup of, or no, she's got a book, and then yeah, there's a cup of tea. She's looking out the window, and I'm like, oh, gorgeous. And then the other thing that he got me, which this was not a surprise. I knew about the calendar beforehand, and I was pretty sure about the sock set thing. So This was a complete surprise. He got me these really cute little cards, and whenever I buy artwork from artists online and stuff, 9 times out of 10 I'll just buy their like note cards or postcards, because you can still frame it and they're considerably cheaper than the proper like official art print. So this is from Canyon and Cove Art, which I'll link down below. So there's this one, which is adorable. And this one, which is super, super cute, a very festive, Christmassy one. And then this one, if you didn't know, I love otters. They're probably my favorite animal. Well, I like all the woodland animals, but otters just have a special place for me. And it was one of the highlights of our honeymoon was we went to the Tennessee Aquarium in Chattanooga, and we got to see the otter swimming around. So cool. So he got these cards, and then he got me also a couple of stickers. I can show you this one. There's that one. And then the other one, I'm not 100% sure what that one is. But there are those, and then the way that we do presents with Micah's family is we exchange names, and then we don't have to try and get presents for everybody. We just kind of get it for one person. So Micah's mom got my name for this year, and so she got me a couple books, which I'm very excited about. The first one is, I opened it and I was just like, yes, hooray! I have the first book, which I finally bought for myself last year for my birthday, and I'd been wanting it for such a long time. And then she had just recently come out with this one, and I was just like, trying to go back and forth and decide between the two. So I got the first one, but now I have both of them, and I am so excited. Oh my gosh. These things are just the cutest little animals. Like, look at this rhino in his overalls. Like, adorable. So at some point, oh, here we go. I can just show you this one. At some point, I'm going to make some of these. Hopefully sooner rather than later, because they are just the sweetest, cutest thing. And the fun thing is that all the clothes from both books are interchangeable. So it's like there's a massive selection of different clothes that you could make. Because I don't know about you, when I was a little girl, that was honestly the best part about playing with dolls, was changing the clothes. And there's just so many different little animals in here. There's a koala, there's a bear, there's a hippo. The hippo is so cute. I love it. Oh, and then there's the panda bear. Yeah, so this was, I opened it and I was just like, yes! Oh, perfect. And then the other book that she got me, I think I might have briefly seen it on Amazon or something. I think it just came out. It is Knitting Peter Rabbit, 12 Toy Knitting Patterns from the Tales of Beatrix Potter. And it's by Claire Garland, who is fairly popular online for doing animal patterns. And so this is just perfection. How adorable. It comes with Peter Rabbit, Benjamin Bunny, Flopsy Bunny, Mrs. Tiggy Winkle, Tom Kitten, Squirrel Nutkin, Mr. Jeremy Fisher, Jemima Puddle Duck, the Tailor of Gloucester, Mr. Todd, Tommy Brock, and Samuel Whiskers, which is, I love this so, so, so much. I'm really excited to kind of look through it. Like, obviously there's Peter Rabbit. To be fair, my favorite is Benjamin Bunny because of his little, like, tam o' shanter. Oh my gosh, I haven't even looked at him, but there he is. Benjamin Bunny. And it has the instructions for making, like, the little felt clothes for them, which is just so sweet. Yeah, there's the Flopsy Bunny, Mrs. Tiggy Winkle. Mrs. Tiggy Winkle is really funny because I don't know exactly what yarn she used, but it's like, I'm trying to find a good picture. There we go. She's got the little prickles. So, yeah. I am very, very happy with my Christmas presents and gifts and stuff. It was lovely, which I have talked for a very long time about them because I just realized that this video clip is like 10 minutes long and I've done like 3 other ones, so whoops, oh well. But yeah, so I hope that you all had a wonderful and very Merry Christmas. I hope that you're having a good end of the year week. I was gonna try and squeeze in another podcast episode, and then I told myself, no. Just enjoy this last week of 2023, and then we'll make a new podcast video in January. My plan is with that one, I'm gonna share some of the things that I made as gifts for people, and then it's gonna be a little bit different than my usual podcast because we're gonna kind of talk about like reflecting a little bit on 2023 and some changes that I want to make going forward in 2024, which I think is always a good thing to do, kind of think about nothing. I think one of the most helpful things that I have found was when people started talking about, I started seeing it online that they were talking about that wintertime is not necessarily the best time to try and make a bunch of new life changes and things because it's a sleepier time of year. It's a calmer, like a quieter. And I used to feel so guilty that I couldn't seem to keep any of my New Year's resolutions. And then I heard that and I was like, that makes so much sense for my personality. My like resolution time of year is springtime. Like I feel like I come alive in springtime. I love it so much. And it is my favorite time of the year. It's just beautiful. All the birds start coming back, everything starts getting green, and I just feel rejuvenated and alive again. Not that you don't over winter, but so I heard that a couple years ago. And so since then I don't really make New Year's resolutions anymore. I used to really like think through it when I was like a teenager and stuff and try and make this huge list of things that I was gonna do. But I do think it's still good to kind of think and reflect and make some plans for the new year. So we're going to talk about that specifically with regards to yarn and knitting and all that fun stuff, so stay tuned for that. But that's it for this video. I hope that you have a very lovely New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, and you get to celebrate it with family and do all the cozy traditions that your family does, and you have just a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching this video, watching all my Vlogmas videos, supporting my channel this last year. It has been such a blessing to me. I have made so many friends, and well, not so many, I've made friends, and it has been absolutely lovely. So I really appreciate each and every one of you that take the time to watch and comment and do all of those things, and I'm looking forward to doing it all again next year. So thank you very, very much, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.